Air 10-766, take 1.
My name is Victoria Winters. I am no longer a stranger at Collinwood. Whether I want it or not, the people who live in this great mansion on Widow's Hill have become part of my life. And now I can only hope for the day when the tension around me will no longer exist.
Expecting the boats back this early, Mr. Collins?
I'm simply enjoying the view. It's a lovely spot, this.
Widow's Hill? Ain't nothing nice about it.
Oh, you have no soul, Matthew. Can't you see the play of sunlight on the water? Those low-carved clouds dipping over the horizon?
Look like rain clouds to me.
Oh, Matthew, you're incorrigible. You're an eternal pessimist. How long have you been caretaker here? 15 years?
18.
Do you mean to tell me in all this time you've never once stood on this crest and admired the beauties of nature?
Ocean and sky. They're always there, Mr. Collins.
Ah, but today's a very special day, Matthew. Today the earth is spinning with joy and goodwill. And I have never felt better in my life.
Governess, where are you going?
Out for a walk.
Well, how about stepping into my private office for a little talk first?
Carolyn, please, no more arguments.
Arguments? Vicky, I couldn't argue with a fly on a day like this.
Well, you managed quite well a few hours ago.
Oh, well, that was in my last incarnation. Now I am Carolyn Stoddard, the meek but happy lamb. Come on in. The strange thing about this room, Vicky, sometimes I just hate it. Other times I just plain love it. The core of Collinwood, the Holy of Holies, and the place for important announcements.
I know you're getting married.
You're not even warm. Vicky, remember who we were arguing about earlier today?
How could I forget?
Well, Mr. Burke Devlin has had his answer from on high. And all the pressures are faded and gone forever.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the coroner, that fine public servant who has just made a fine public pronouncement.
About Mr. Malloy?
Yes. Oh, Vicky, you know what's been going on around here. All the talk and questions. Did Mr. Malloy drown or was he murdered? And if he was murdered, then who did it? Well, all that's over now.
What was decided?
Accidental death due to drowning. Period. Finished.
That is good news. When did you hear?
Just a little while ago.
I'm so glad for you. For all of you.
Oh, all of us are glad for us too, Vicky. It's like a huge weight has been lifted from our shoulders. I'll bet my Uncle Roger's really relieved about it.
We haven't seen him yet.
No. But when I do, I'm going to give him the biggest hug he ever had in his life. Oh, Vicky, can you imagine anybody thinking even for 5 minutes that Uncle Roger could have killed Mr. Malloy?
Well, I hope that person will stop thinking it now.
Me too.
Carolyn, the coroner's verdict, it is final, isn't it?
Of course.
Do you believe it'll really satisfy Burke Devlin?
I couldn't care less whether Devlin is satisfied or not. The coroner's finding is legal and binding, and there's not a thing he can do about it.
He could make trouble just the same, couldn't he?
Well, you could always handle that for us, Matthew. If Devlin continues to be too much of a nuisance, all you need do is twist his neck a bit.
Talk that way, Mr. Collins.
Well, all right then. Don't twist his neck. Simply invite him out here to admire the view and give him a push. Problem solved either way.
I hope you're joking with me, Mr. Collins. I don't like talk about killing people.
Even an enemy of the family?
Anybody. I don't care who it is. Poor Mr. Malloy's dead, that's enough.
Yes, I suppose it is. Actually, I was pulling your leg, Matthew. I'm sure the coroner's finding has removed Devlin's sting quite successfully.
Mr. Collins, about
Yes?
the coroner's decision, does that mean there'll be no more talk of murder?
That's precisely what it means.
But suppose the sheriff thinks the coroner made a mistake. Won't he still be coming up to Collinwood, bothering people?
Why, Matthew, you're not thinking of pushing him off a cliff, are you?
Mr. Collins, you talk too lightly about pushing people off cliffs. I wouldn't speak about it if I was you.
Is that intended as a warning?
There are some people who don't understand your kind of joke, Mr. Collins. I wouldn't want them to start thinking wrong things about you.
Such as?
Oh, wrong things is all.
Well, be more specific, Matthew. What wrong things?
That maybe you lied to the sheriff? Like that?
But I didn't lie to the sheriff. When the coroner studied the sheriff's reports, he undoubtedly looked for some evidence of foul play. But he obviously found none, and the case is closed.
Then the sheriff won't be back.
Only to sell tickets to the annual bazaar.
Here you are. Just what the doctor ordered to keep the wind from ruffling your dark and gorgeous hair. Thank you. Don't mention it. I have a closet full. Where are you off to?
Oh, I don't really know. I haven't taken a long walk since I've been here. I thought I might go down along the beach.
I wish you'd stick around, Vicky. We have so few happy days around this dungeon, it's kind of a shame to miss even 5 minutes of one of them.
Well, maybe this is just the first of a long string of happy days.
You're right. From now on, it's champagne every night and caviar for breakfast. Songs and dances by Stoddard and Winters. Winters and Stoddard.
While Matthew Morgan accompanied us on the harp.
Oh. The only trouble is, Vicky, it won't last. You see, Bert Devlin is not going to be satisfied with the decision of the coroner.
Well, even so, what can he do about it?
I don't know exactly, but... Vicky, you know where I was when I heard the news? In Bert Devlin's hotel room. It wasn't what you think. David was with me. But when he heard what the coroner had decided, he practically threw us both out of the room. He got so angry, I thought he was going to tear the furniture apart.
Have you told your mother this?
Not really. No, I haven't. I guess I didn't even want to think about it.
Hey, why don't you come for that walk with me? A good walk down the beach would be just the thing for clearing the cobwebs out of your mind.
No, thanks. I really do want to wait for Uncle Roger.
Okay. But remember to keep your mind on the caviar and champagne.
Right. Vicky, as long as you're going for a walk, you might as well go to Lookout Point.
What's there?
Oh, a beach, nice view. A lot of pretty seashells.
I think I'll do that.
And if you do run into my Uncle Roger, please tell him I'm dying to see him.
Mr. Collins is up to Widow's Hill, miss. Do you want me to get him?
Don't bother, Matthew. I'll go out there and give him the message.
Thanks.
See you later.
Do you know where your mother is?
Oh, somewhere around the house? I'm not sure. Why?
I just want to tell her how pleased I am about the news. The coroner's decision, I mean.
Not planning to jump, are you?
Oh, Vicky. You shouldn't creep up behind me like that.
It's exactly what you did to me my very first day here.
Did I? So I did. Well, please accept my belated apologies.
Apology accepted.
Oh, Vicky. I can scarcely believe it. All of the trials and tribulations and pressures that we've been living with are finally at an end, and one by one we will toss them into the sea.
Who's the big one?
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps it should have a name. How does Burke Devlin sound?
Are you sure it's big enough?
Well, on the contrary, it's much too big for him. Here you go, Mr. Devlin. Into the sea, under the waves, and never to be heard from again. Do you believe in fate, Vicky?
You mean, like on the day I was born, I was destined to be standing here at this very moment?
Weren't you?
I've never really thought about it.
Neither did I. But now I'm so certain of my survival that...
It's getting late. I'd better be getting down to Lookout Point. How do you get there?
Why are you interested in Lookout Point?
Well, when I told Carolyn I was going to take a walk, she told me it would be a good place to head toward.
Did she tell you that Bill Malloy may have died there?
I didn't know it was decided where he died.
Specifically, no, but probably somewhere in the area of Lookout Point. Well, if you're going, I suggest you better hurry up, because the tide comes in about 3/4 of an hour. You just follow that path and you'll find it. As for me, I'm going back to the house.
Oh, Carolyn said she wanted to see you.
All right.
Joe, it's all over. No more pressures. Why does everyone talk about Burke Devlin? He's not going to do anything. Oh, Joe, I think my Uncle Roger just came in. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Hello, kitten. Vicky said you wanted to see me.
I sure did, to give you this.
Oh, well, what are we celebrating?
Peace and contentment. The end of gloom. Isn't that enough?
Amen to that.
Uncle Roger, were you ever really worried? I mean, really?
Not for a moment.
Not even when the sheriff came to the house asking all those questions?
Well, I had nothing to be worried about, kitten. After all, Bill died at 11:15 that night, and the last time I saw him was about 10:15.
Well, I was sure worried. I can tell you that.
Why? Did you think I was involved?
Heavens, no. But there is something you're involved in.
Oh, what?
The theft of an extremely valuable piece of property belonging to another man.
And to whom does this extremely valuable piece of property belong?
Burke Devlin.
A fountain pen? You think I stole a fountain pen?
Well, I was only kidding about the stealing part of it. But you did say you'd return it.
Kitten, I honestly don't know what you're talking about.
Burke Devlin gave me a fountain pen the day we had lunch together in Bangor. Don't you remember?
Vaguely, yes.
Well, you certainly weren't very vague about it when I came home that night and told you I'd accepted a gift from Burke.
Oh, yes, of course, the pen. It was kind of silver, wasn't it?
Yes, filigreed silver, and quite expensive, too.
Yes, I recall. Very, very intricate work. And I was quite, too, insisting that you give it to me to give back to Burke.
Then why didn't you? It was the night you were going to the meeting at the office. The night Mr. Malloy died. We were in here. It was About 9 o'clock, I guess. I showed you the pen, and you took it from me and put it in your pocket. You said you were going to give it back to Burke.
Then you were furious at me. I remember that very well.
Well, I saw Burke today, and... Well, I did see him. I had to talk to him about something.
Carolyn, I wish you would stay away from that man.
I mentioned the pen to him, and he said you didn't give it back to him.
Well, so much happened that night. I suppose it's entirely possible.
He said that when you came to the office, you were going to give it back to him, but when you reached in your pocket, you found you didn't have it with you.
Do you know, I believe he's telling you the truth. I remember something like that.
Oh, Uncle Roger, I do hope you haven't lost it. It was so valuable.
Well, I'll be more than happy to buy him another.
It was from South America.
I'll fly to Rio first thing in the morning and pick one up. How's that?
I wish you wouldn't joke about it. It really is my responsibility.
For goodness sake, Kitten, it must be here in the house somewhere. It's bound to turn up sooner or later.
I want it to turn up now.
Well, shall I call the sheriff and tell him to mount a full investigation?
Uncle Roger, please.
Yes, Kitten?
Now, look. You put the pen in your pocket the same night you went to the meeting at your office. But when you got there, you didn't have it with you. Right?
Right.
Now, since you went directly from the house to the meeting, you couldn't have lost it on the way. Right?
Yes.
So you must have left it somewhere here in the house.
Yes, I suppose so.
Matthew, have you seen a fountain pen around the house?
A pen, miss?
Yes, it has a silver design on it.
No, miss.
Well, if you do see it, will you please let me know?
Of course, miss.
Thank you. No luck yet?
Well, it has to be somewhere in here.
I just asked Matthew. He's going to look for it, too.
Why the devil did you ask him?
I thought he might have seen it.
Carolyn, this is between you and me, and I'd just as soon it stay that way.
Well, what difference does it make? All I want to do is find the pen.
Not half as much as I do.
Uncle Roger, why are you that upset because I mentioned it to Matthew?
Carolyn, you keep looking around in here. I have to go right out.
But I'd like you to help me.
Just do as I say.
Collins.
I haven't got time, Matthew.
But it's Devlin. His car just come up the drive. You want me to get Miss Stoddard?
Yes. Yes, I think you'd better. Well, it's come, Carolyn. The end of our happy day.
Betty Davis, George Hamilton, and Jamaica Joe and his Limbo Dancers guest star on The Milton Berle Show, tonight here on ABC. Dark Shadows is a Dan Curtis production. Dark Shadows, number 76, BTR 10.